Today we are going to discuss the Lawson coat of arms. But before we get started, we wanted to let you know that we offer genealogy research service at our website. Please visit us at coadb.com. First coat of arms to discuss is blazoned. Purple, argent, and sable, a chevron counterchanged, belonged to the Lawson family of Isel in County Cumberland, England. The Lawson baronetcy of Isel was a title created in the Baronetage of England in 1688 for Sir Wilfrid Lawson, a member of Parliament and the son of William Lawson, and the great-nephew of Sir Wilfrid Lawson, born 1545, a member of Parliament who had acquired the estate, and was the son of Thomas Lawson of Little Osworth in County Durham. Here we see an old oil painting of Sir Wilfrid Lawson, the third baronet, and a baronetcy was essentially a hereditary knighthood that passed from father to eldest son, typically. And here we see the family estate of Isel. Very similar coat of arms for Lawson of Little Osworth in Durham, confirmed in 1558 to Thomas Lawson, son of William of Little Osworth, who was son of John Lawson of Washington, a descendant of John Lawson who lived in the 13th century and was Lord of Fawlesgrave. And we know Thomas had son George Lawson, who was alive in the year 1557. Another with an escalope in chief, with crest being out of a ducal coronet, a demi-hound, argent-eared or, for Lawson of Essex. Robert Lawson of Essex, alive in the year 1600, had sons John, Ralph, and Richard. And I have a note here that says there was a George Lawson of Barfield in Essex, who was granted a coat of arms in the first half of the 16th century. Whether or not it was this one or a different one, I do not know. Another similar coat of arms, this with a canton sable charged with 2 bars or, and the crest being out of clouds proper, 2 bars embowed vested erminoi, cuffed sable, holding a sun also proper, for Lawson of Brighton in County Cumberland. Another baronetcy, it was awarded in 1831 to Wilfrid Lawson, and here we see the second baronet with the same name. And the first baronet was born Wilfrid Wyberg, but he assumed the surname Lawson, being the nephew of Sir Wilfrid Lawson, the 10th baronet of Isel, and the baronetcy went extinct upon the death of the 4th baronet in 1959. Here we see the family estate of Brighton. Lawson of Little Osworth, again, different source, gives a different blazon. This one being argent, a chevron between 3 martlets, sable, crest, 2 flexed arms, argent, supporting the rising sun proper. Another with this crest being very similar, but the arms are vested ermine. And this is for Lawson of Longhurst in County Northumberland. William Lawson, born 1684, son of John, son of William, son of Robert Lawson, who was alive in the year 1610, all of Longhurst. And later came William Lawson, who built the hall in the 1820s, which we see here. Another very similar coat of arms for Lawson of Cramlington in Northumberland, descended from William Lawson of Cramlington and Bywell, who died in 1480. He was a descendant of Thomas Lawson of Bywell, who was son of Lawrence Lawson of Lancaster. And here we see Cramlington Hall. Argent, a chevron between 3 martlets, sable, crest on the chapeau, gules turned up ermine, a martlet sable, for Lawson of Brohall in County Yorkshire. The Lawson of Brohall in the County of York was a title created in 1841 for Sir William Lawson. He was born William Wright, but assumed the surname Lawson, being the maternal grandson of Sir Mordaunt Lawson, 5th baronet. And the crest was granted in 1592 to Ralph Lawson of Burgh in County Yorkshire, and was also granted to his brothers William, John, George, and Roland Lawson, sons of Edmund Lawson of Newcastle. And here we see the family estate of Brohall. Another on a chevron between 3 martlets, a crescent, crest, a demi-lion, rampant, holding between the paws a mullet of 6 points. Lawson of Yorkshire, paley of 6 gules invert on a chevron, argent, 3 wolves' heads erased, sable on a chief or, 3 ogresses. We have a very similar coat of arms with 2 cinquefoils, and instead of 3 ogresses, there's 1 with the demi-lion in it, and it's flanked by 2 crescents, each with 3 plates. For Lawson of Poppleton in Morby in County Yorkshire. George Lawson of Morby, who died in 1699, was son of George Lawson, rector of Eakring, both of Morby, who was the son of George Lawson of Poppleton, who was the son of Peter Lawson of Poppleton, and ultimately they descended from Thomas Lawson, who was Mayor of York, who was son of Sir George Lawson, Mayor of York and Treasurer of Berwick. Here we see the family estate of Morby, as well as Poppleton. Very similar coat of arms for Lawson of Naves Lodge in Yorkshire. The Lawson baronetcy of Naves Lodge was a title created in 1905 for the British Unionist politician Sir John Lawson, who we see here. He was the second son of Andrew Sherlock Lawson of Aldborough Manor in Yorkshire. And here we see the family estate of Knavesmere Lodge. Next is Argent, a satire, and chief sable on the last 3 garbs or for Lawson of Cairnmuir in County Peebles, Scotland. Richard Lawson of Highrigs, born around the year 1450, a Scottish landowner, diplomat, and lawyer who was made Provost of Edinburgh and Justice Clerk General to the King, owned a country estate known as Cairnmuir, and had sons Richard, Robert, who was killed at the Battle of Flodden, and James Lawson, a member of Parliament. James had son James Lawson, who was a 16th century politician and lawyer, and one descendant of this family was William Lawson, seen here, born 1774, a soldier, explorer, and landowner who migrated to Sydney, Australia in 1800. And this coat of arms was also borne by the Lawsons of Bog Hall in West Lothian, Scotland, associated with Sir William Lawson, who had daughter Catherine, who married Archibald Primrose around the year 1640. Per satire, argent, and sable, a satire gules on a chief azure 3 garbs or, crest a garb or, for Lawson of Helbercott in County Edinburgh, Scotland. Charles Lawson of Borthwick Hall, born 1795, a Scottish nurseryman and merchant, noted for the introduction of foreign crops to the United Kingdom, served as Lord Provost of Edinburgh and was the son of Peter Lawson, a seed merchant. And here we see the family estate of Borthwick Hall. Parted per satire or invert, a satire gules on a chief of the second, a garb between 2 crosslets Fitchy of the first, crest a garb or banded gules, for Lawson of Anfield in County Fife, Scotland. Alexander Lawson, Esquire of Anfield in County Fife, Scotland, born 1862, was the eldest son of Alexander Lawson of Anfield, and Burnturk, born 1813, who was son of John Lawson. We see the family estate of Anfield. Azure, 2 crescents argent and chief, and a star and base or, for Lawson of Humby in County Haddington. Sir James Lawson of Humby, born 1564, was gentleman of the bedchamber to King James VI, was the son of James Lawson, the son of Robert Lawson, both of Humby, which we see here. Next we have Lawson of Scotland. We weren't able to find the escutcheon or the shield for this, but the crest is a leopard's head erased proper. Azure, a bend ermine between 3 trefoils slipped argent, crest an arm from the elbow, vested gules, cuff, indented or, holding a holly branch proper, for Lawson of Ireland. We weren't able to find the armiger or the grantee on this, but some possibilities include John Lawson, Doctor of Divinity, Fellow of Trinity College, Dublin, who died around the year 1759. Henry Lawson, Esquire, a captain of His Majesty's ship, who died around the year 1734. Epaphroditus Lawson of Drummond in County Cavan, who died in around the year 1719. And and Meir Lawson of Dublin, who died around the year 1784. Another per chevron argent and or a chevron in vect sable, plain, coticed vert between two martlets in chief sable and a trefoil in base vert. Crest between two arms embowed proper, holding a sun in splendor or a trefoil slipped, the whole surmounted by a rainbow also proper. For the Lawsons of Wheatwood Grange in the West Riding of Yorkshire. Another baronetcy, the title granted in 1900 to Sir Arthur Lawson, chairman, looks like a firm and director of the Great Eastern Railway and the Yorkshire Post. Here we see Wheatwood Grange. Argent on a bed between two trefoils slipped sable, 3 massels or for Lawson of Ireland. Said to descend from Clan MacLabris, who descended from Labris, grandson of Donald More O'Sullivan. Ghouls, a satire parted and Freddy Orr between two ram's heads coop Fessways Argent. Crest, a ram argent, holding in the mouth a trefoil slip vert and resting the dexter foreleg on a quatrefoil. For Edward Levy Lawson of Hallbarn in County Buckinghamshire, born 1833, he was lord of the manor of Beaconsfield. He was a British newspaper proprietor who assumed the surname by royal license in 1875. Here we see the family estate of Hallbarn. And if you enjoyed this video, please visit us at coadb.com, where we offer genealogy research service, high-resolution digital JPEGs, and heraldic merchandise such as t-shirts, posters, mugs, and canvas prints. Like and subscribe, share, link in the description. Thank you very much.